Hey, what's going on guys, I'm Silent Core and welcome back to my Red Dead series. Today we'll be going over some new details released by Take-Two Interactive of all people in their earnings call regarding the upcoming summer update in Red Dead Online, or the Outlaw Focus DLC, that's going to be introducing some new criminal activities from intimidation, unsavory crimes, and even the larger high-stakes robberies. Now, I covered this part in my video yesterday, but in the way this section is written, it's actually quite ambiguous in what that actually means. A lot of players are speculating if this could even be a full-blown heist DLC, which it most likely will not, guys. People are speculating if this could be a new role in the game, or even just a new stranger mission giver giving us these criminal missions. Now, the reason Rockstar decided to announce this summer DLC for Red Dead Online and also the summer DLC for GTA Online on the same day is because they wanted to do it before the Take-Two Interactive investor call. If you guys didn't know already, Take-Two Interactive are the parent company of Rockstar Games, and they do a quarterly earnings call which is more targeted towards the investors than consumers, but they do give some very interesting sales numbers and also tend to give us a bit of different information and wordage around the upcoming updates. Also, real quick, let's take a look at the updated sales figures for Red Dead Redemption 2. They have now sold over 37 million copies, and that's an additional 1 million since the last quarter. Meanwhile, Grand Theft Auto 5 is over 145 million copies, and check this, an additional 5 million copies were sold in the last quarter. That's literally 5 times the amount of Red Dead Redemption 2, which is the newest game. That's crazy, guys. So it's pretty easy to see why Rockstar is still prioritizing GTA Online over Red Dead Online. Also, thanks to Videotech for those images. Now, the screenshot you'll see on screen is new information coming from Take-Two Interactive's transcription of their earnings call, and the part I've highlighted here is the kind of new wordage around this update. And they said, later this summer, fans can look forward to a host of new missions for skilled outlaws involving everything from quick holdups to larger high-stake robberies for big rewards. Now, right off the bat, you guys can see there's no mention of this being a new role, and just to compare to a previous earnings call, this was the one in November 2020 discussing the Bounty Hunter expansion DLC, they actually mentioned it was going to be featuring an extension to an existing Frontier Pursuits, and Frontier Pursuit is obviously the DLC that introduced all the roles into the game, so they specifically always mentioned that it's going to be a new role until this update. And this is really interesting because all the updates since 2019 have actually introduced new roles into the game. So perhaps this is Rockstar taking a bit of a step back from the roles and just bringing us some fun content, you know, outlaw content that made it into the single player but still hasn't been transported over to the multiplayer. And I'm honestly going to be pretty happy if that is the case, because charging players 15 gold bars to start an Outlaw Role would be a bigger robbery than any of the robberies included in the summer update. But yeah, as confirmed in the earnings call, we are going to be able to do quick holdups, so that will be robbing individuals similar to what we could do in the Red Dead Redemption 2 single player. You could basically target any NPC and use the rob option, and this was just such a simple activity Rockstar could have added into online. I don't know why it's taken them this long to add the ability to just rob people in the game. I am also hoping this summer update will bring back the horse fence, where you can sell stolen horses and break in horses around the game, and also the wagon fence, you know, to allow you to rob stagecoaches. You could not only rob the actual stagecoach of any loot that it might have on it, but also take the actual stagecoach and sell it to the wagon fence for a profit. Train robberies are also confirmed as a high-stake robbery. They were also featured in the Newswire post. You could see a bunch of outlaws taking over a train carriage in that post, and this is going to work probably very similar to how it did in single player. You'll need some dynamite to blow up the safes and some of the cargo cars to get loot, and then you can also go ahead and rob individuals as you move through the trains. Some players might not know this, but the passengers that you rob will actually have different loot on them depending on what class of car you're in. So if you want to get the best loot from the passengers, you want to head to the upper class cars, and you'll be able to tell that from the, you know, the very fancy interior inside the cars, and these passengers will have the most money and be the wealthiest, so those ones are the best to rob. It's going to be interesting to see if Rockstar also introduced bank robberies with this summer update. We did see in some of the leaked files introduced with the last DLC, the Bounty Hunter expansion in December, that there were actually some new bank safe files and assets added into the game as if Rockstar were using them, or testing them at least for a future update. So there is a chance the banks will be included, but there is also a chance they might save them for a future heist DLC. There were only 3 banks in the single player that we could rob, and they were the Valentine Savings Bank, the Bank of Rhodes, and also the Lemoyne National Bank. And the last 2 types of robberies that we can look out for are, first of all, homesteads. There were a few different homesteads around the single player that you could rob for jewellery and different types of loot. And then also the side businesses. This would be stores that you could go in and hold up and take different kinds of loot from robbing those businesses. Now, I have seen some players wondering if we're going to be getting this update on June 1st, right when Outlaw Pass number 5 ends, and I think this is highly unlikely. First of all, they would have announced the release date since it is that soon. They always announce their release dates at least a week in advance. And second of all, the 1st of June isn't even a summer month. Summer technically starts on the 20th of June and goes until the end of September, so that's the time range that we have for the summer DLC. I think at the absolute most on June 1st we should expect another season of the Outlaw Pass, or even a short Outlaw Pass that would last just a couple of months in the summer, maybe just being 20 ranks long, and then also maybe even some Telegram missions or some new race content. Now, we know that data miners have found unreleased audio files containing voice lines from Josiah, who gives us Telegram missions pertaining to different types of criminal activities. We've talked about this on the channel before, but there's been voice dialogue found for grave robberies, so grave snatching, that kind of stuff, and also boat robberies. There were missions asking you to go and collect different types of boats, and also multiple boats, so that could also include maybe even canoes and different types of boats in the game. And again, this content is actually physically within the game files of Red Dead Online. Rockstar has created it, they just have not officially released it yet. Do let me know down in the comments what kind of robberies you guys would like to see added to Red Dead Online with this DLC. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any future breaking news for Red Dead Online. Have a great day, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.